Showtime!
Today I'm here with Merrill Reese, the voice of the Eagles. And Merrill and I go way back. We used to have push-up contests in the lobby.
And you always won. That's it.
I'm going to interview Merrill Reese, and we're going to get a little bit about his background. And also, he is going to provide us with tips and advice on how to break into the industry if you're an aspiring DJ or radio personality. Okay, so let's get down and dirty here.
Okay, let's do that.
Did you always know that you wanted to be in radio?
No, I actually wanted to quarterback the Eagles.
Really?
Uh-huh. But then when I turned out to be 5 feet 8.5 and 140 pounds, I knew very early that I had to turn to an alternate goal. And from the time I was a teenager, really, it wasn't so much growing up saying I wanted to be the Eagles play-by-play man, although if I could have chosen, it would be that. But I wanted to be a play-by-play sports broadcaster. Yes, that was always my #1 ambition.
Oh, cool. And you did it. So what was your first internship or job in the industry that was significant?
Well, I graduated from college, and then I was a naval officer. So I served at the Pentagon, at the Naval Academy, and at Norfolk. And then from there, I started my radio career when I came out of the service in Pottstown, Pennsylvania.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that about you. And so how did you feel when you were given the position of the voice of the Eagles?
It's a little more involved than just here's the position. Because I did work in Pottstown for a year, and I worked here in Levittown for 2 years, and I went to an FM station in Philadelphia for a number of years, and through that, I was one of about 94 people who auditioned at WIP to do summer replacement work for their sportscaster. And I kept getting called back and was hired. And after I did that, I was hired to do the pre- and post-game show on the Eagles, which I did for about 5 years. And then the color analyst, a former player, left, and I was hired to do the color commentary. And then in 1977, I was doing that. We had 2 games to go in the '77 season. And I was still working full-time at WWDB and doing the games on the weekend. And on Tuesday, December 7th, and I would get up every morning at about 4:30, go to WWDB and do the morning sports. The phone rang, and I figured it was just the disc jockey. He gave me a wake-up call every morning at about 4:30. And as I looked over at my clock, it was 2 o'clock. And I reached over and I answered the phone, and it was a voice I didn't recognize telling me that the play-by-play announcer of the Eagles, Charlie Swift was his name, that he had taken his life. And obviously I was in a state of shock, and I went to WWDB and I did a memorial piece on the air about Charlie. And once the switchboard opened, a WIP called the program director, Dean Tyler, and he said, Merrill, come in as soon as you get off the air. We will have to make plans. You're doing the play-by-play on Sunday, which I did. And I was scared to death. Now, I had done a lot of play-by-play over the years. I was prepared from a standpoint of knowing how to do it. But I mean, here I am thrust into the spotlight,
and especially under such
under the worst possible circumstances ever. And somehow I got through it. And I did the final game of the season with no guarantees, and people were applying from all over the country. I mean, over 1,000. And the following spring, they anointed me a sports director of WIP and play-by-play voice of the Eagles. And they have been stuck with me ever since.
Wow, that's an amazing story. Thank you.
Well, the actual circumstances are somewhat unusual, of course, but I think all of us. Somebody once said that was a horrible way to get a job, but any job you get, there's a certain amount of happenstance. You've heard the old cliche, you have to be in the right place at the right time. And somebody once talked about luck being the residue of hard work. If I hadn't worked hard, if I wasn't prepared, my moment might have come and I might have blown it. I might have not performed at the level
Right.
that they were looking for. So obviously I was ready for that moment. And that's the same for any of us. If you work hard enough, I believe that at some point in your life, your opportunity is going to come. And when it comes, you can't afford to miss the bullseye.
So do you want to have push-up contest today?
No, I will concede that one to you.
All right, ready, set.
The kick is away. It's got the distance. It's got the direction. It's good.
Yay!